Good morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar, or good day, wherever this finds you today. Thank you so much for joining us as we talk about trade shows, how to get ready for them. We're going to do that in 30 minutes or less. So we're delighted that you could join us today. We realize how webinared out everybody is still post-pandemic, but we are delighted that you could join us. Thank you so much. We put together for you a very content-rich, action-packed webinar slide deck that you will get in your inboxes in the next few days. But before we start, let me give you a quick introduction of who we are and who's presenting today. So as first of all, as a company, our company is called IBT Online. We are an online agency. We deal with websites and online marketing, and particularly for international markets. We're particularly known for our international reach, our ability to produce websites in Japan, Korea, the Middle East, the Americas, and the online marketing that goes with it. We are a US company, and we've been around for quite a long time, since about 2002. So it's our 20th year this year. And we have developed a series of programs, online global programs, which we've developed with various US states, also with some provinces in Canada. And these are programs targeted particularly at mid-cap companies who are looking to grow their businesses internationally, globally, and we help them get the right websites, the right web online marketing, so the right business development tools that they need to do that. There are grants associated with a lot of those programs, so please, if you have an interest in international online global programs, that's programs to bring you websites and online marketing and the associated grants, reach out and let us know, and we'll be happy to give you some information on that. Today, I'm being joined by our online video manager, Ava Metze. Ava's going to talk to us a lot about videos, which is a really key, important part about trade shows these days. So that's a really important component, and you'll find that using videos really leverages your presence at the trade show, really, brings you to the fore, gets really great engagement in the pre, the during, and post trade show moments. So Ava's going to join us about that, talk about the online marketing side. And my name is Susanna, and I'm Chief Content Officer at IBT Online, and I'm delighted to be here with you today to talk about trade shows and how to get ready for them. So we've divided up the agenda, as it were, into sort of like 5 bits, really, because given that we're doing a short webinar, we're going to leave those Q&A moments to email. So if you've got questions and things that you would like us to drill down on, pop us an email, or put something in the chat box now if you like anyway, and we can circle back to you via email in responses, because we've left this really as a 30-minute webinar only. We're going to talk first about why trade shows still matter. Are they still relevant? What kind of trade shows are there? Then we're going to go right into some practical aspects of the pre-show preparation, that preparation that's so key. What's the timing of it? What are the key elements of that? And then we're going to talk about the event itself, what you do during the trade show to maximize and optimize your presence there. Make sure you've got good conversions of that trade show. And then what are the key things to do after the trade show? How do you segment the CRM? What do you do for email funnel? That sort of thing. And then just a one slide, say, takeaways, which are very much, as I said, very action oriented and practical, we hope. So with that, I think we should sort of like get started and say why trade shows still matter. So, are they still there? For us, they still matter really because they are a major event. Now, obviously, the events industry, the trade show industry, collapsed in 2020. And it's rebounding. It's up about 40% since then. But I think it fundamentally changed with the pandemic. It was slowly heading towards change anyway. People were finding it more expensive, they'd be more selective, the introduction of hybrid events and virtual events. But the pandemic really crystallized those trends and forced them to make a very rapid change. So I think that you'll find that trade shows today are different. For that. You know, almost overnight, these things had to change very quickly. As I said, they're still down about 40% off their pre-pandemic of 2020 to 19 levels, but are starting to come back. But I think companies are being much more selective, particularly in their international shows, but also in the domestic shows. And some of the very biggest presenters then, you know, the big fish of the trade show are not always attending all the trade shows. So they've scooped it down and narrowed it and focused it to the ones that are really essential now. And that means that, you know, if you're a smaller fish, you're also selecting because you're saying, I want to be there with the big guys as well. Those are my, you know, my prospective huge clients. I want to be at those trade shows. So again, there's a little selecting out and much more selectivity on the trade show itself. It's clear also, I mean, the best way is still a face-to-face. The best way to show your products is still an in-person show. But hybrid has definitely appeared and is here to stay. Apple gave its first really big hybrid event in 2021, and they've said that they're going to continue throughout and now, and they've said it's a game changer, it's wonderful, it's actually a really good thing to do. Hybrid is here. Virtual also, but I think what we'll see more and more are just even the big in-person trade shows having a hybrid aspect to it. This is being driven not just by the pandemic, but also companies wanting to be more environmentally sensitive, so less travel perhaps. For that, I think as well. And also, it's hybrid is also being driven by the need for companies, the desire for companies to reach a global audience and to have omni-channel. So you can be in person, or you can do a live stream, or you can do a video, or you can have all of that mushed up into the trade shows. So hybrid is definitely here to stay. And I think one of the other really important things that trade shows, why they're so relevant, is because they are a major event. Hybrid or non-hybrid, they are a major event. And events, as any salesman or any marketeer knows, that's what punctuates and drives the buyer journey. So the buyer's journey is, you know, awareness, consideration, evaluation, purchase. That's a typical buyer's journey. And these are punctuated and marked by events. And those events can be big events or small, but, you know, a trade show is one of the major ones that you will have in those events that can really push the drive and drive the buyer's journey into the next stage, so that he's starting to really consider your company or your product, and then evaluate the product, and finally do the actual purchase and conversion. So just sort of scooping up then, why digital shows matter. Yes, we think they do. There are more than ever exhibitors are also looking at digital strategies to leverage those trade shows. And this is something, it's also rather self-perpetuating, because your clients are expecting you to have a digital strategy at the trade show. And so, you know, people are saying, well, we need one. We're expected to have one. How does that help? One of the main reasons it helps as well is because digital strategies create more opportunities. We said in the previous slide that the buyer's journey is driven by events. Digital strategies allow you to create more events. And if you've got a big event like a trade show, then you can really push and maximize that event with the digital strategy. One last slide, just before we get down into the sort of nitty-gritty of the pre-show preparation side, I want to say, you know, trade shows are relevant. They are very strong. We know that because they're an event which drives your buyer's journey, but you've got to make it worth it. They are expensive. They're absolutely expensive. And one of the best ways you can really figure out whether you're maximizing your return is to do some kind of a return on investment projection. And you can do it many different ways. Here's a very simple way of doing it. First, you set your budget. Your budget includes things like travel, hotels, show services, furniture, the booth, the marketing material, shipping your stuff over to there, all of those things. As a rough rule of thumb, it's take the cost as 3 times the size, three times the cost of your booth. So let's say you've got a booth of 10 feet by 10 feet, and it's $140 per square foot. then your booth is $14,000. Your cost is going to be something like $42,000 for the trade show, as a rough estimate for that. Now you know your budget. Now do your projected return on investment. So let's say your budget is $42,000, as we just said. Calculate that by, say, what return do I have to make it worthwhile? And we would argue that a typical good return would be 5 to 1. So if you've got a budget of $42,000, then your returns, your sales at that show should be something like $210,000 for that. So just give again a rule of thumb: take your budget, multiply by 5 is the. So if you said, okay, I've got to generate $210,000 worth of sales, how many sales do I need to do that? And then that's your step 3. How many sales do I need to generate from that trade show to meet that objective of $210,000 to cover my costs and have a good return? So that's basically how would you look at a return on investment on the trade show. In addition to those things, I would point out at the bottom of the slides there 2 other main things. One, there are hidden costs in this, and don't underestimate the management time, and don't underestimate also the opportunity cost. If you're doing the trade show, you're not doing something else. And the other point to emphasize about this is that a lot of the real work starts after the trade show, when you're starting to put things into a CRM, segmenting your that very big stack of business cards you get. Well, what are you doing with them? Who's following up? Who's doing that following up? Who's making the calls afterwards? So anyway, let's now dive in to the preparation of the trade show, so the pre-show, as it were. But before I do that, maybe I could just, and before I hand over to Ava, let me just quickly do a poll. Let me just ask you in the audience: is your company doing trade shows? Have you already attended virtual, hybrid, and in-person trade shows? Are you prepared for them? Do you know what you're doing for the virtual and the hybrid and the in-person shows? Are you not yet prepared for any of them yet because you're not yet going to trade shows because of COVID? Or are you okay on the traditional ones, but not yet on it? Let me give you some feedback. And first of all, thank you very much. We have a huge turnout on these. Thank you. You're a very participating audience. I love it. So roughly 60% of you are saying you are prepared for the in-person, but it's not yet for the virtual and hybrid. And so, a good 10-15% of you are not yet prepared for any trade shows post-COVID. And then there's a couple of you right up at the front there who are prepared for everything. Fantastic. I'm going to close that poll and hand over to Ava to talk a little bit about the pre-show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So pre-show is all about preparation and marketing. The lead up to the event is in fact a crucial time to set your company up for success at the show and to really maximize your opportunities. And this is time to implement a targeted marketing strategy and create bespoke content that helps you thrive and ensures a positive return on investment for the trade event. Exhibitors that leverage digital strategies and solutions will be able to present their brand and their products in a much more compelling way, network more effectively, and also nurture their leads more effectively. So as with any successful marketing strategy, you need to identify your platforms, your target buyer personas, and set your goals. And remember that these key elements must always align with your overall business strategy. So let's assume that you've set yourself up for success, you know your buyer personas, you know your target audience, and you've set your measurable goals. The 3 digital assets that we're really encouraging you to lean upon here is number 1, your website, number 2, social media, and number 3 is videos. And I'm going to touch a little bit on each of these, starting, of course, with your website. So your website is your best sales representative. It is a curated showcase of your products and your services operating for you 24/7, so you don't miss out on the opportunity to revamp and update your site well ahead of the event. And this is crucial because, as Susanna mentioned, a lot of the work still goes after the show, and you will get people, leads, will be able to contact you and will want to find you easily online. So you should be navigating your site and making sure that it is up to date. Your website should have a variety of content that addresses the question or concern that your identified buyer persona is seeking. And for example, this includes a blog on your website, which would be a great asset for establishing your brand reputation and your recognition in the industry, a blog discussing your attendance and your engagement with the upcoming event, and that's also great for SEO purposes. I'll link this blog to the actual event taking place, and you can give your buyer persona the opportunity to connect and link up at any time. So take the time to go through your website, updating your SEO, adding relevant content pertaining to the event, as well as situating your brand in the context of the industry. And these are all key for your website performance in the pre-show phase, so that if any lead comes back to your website in this pre-show time or even afterwards, it's set up for success. Number 2 is social media. As per every marketing channel, social media requires a structured approach to ensure you are always reaching the right people with the right message at the right time. And when your objective is to maximize return on investment for the upcoming event, social media is really the moment to begin your engagement with the event and the attendees. So it's a fantastic and informal matter to create connections and be noticed ahead of the event. When deciding what content to create, your objective is to leverage the upcoming event to your advantage. And this includes creating content that is relevant, on topic, tagging the event in your post, connecting with other attendees via the chats, via LinkedIn, for example, all of these platforms that are connected to the event, and promoting your attendance there. So this is an example of a client who wanted to attract more leads in Latin America, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. We built and launched them 3 localized websites for these regions, and then we continue to support Pettibone, in this case, with online marketing campaigns. And this includes giving Pettibone social media lift when there are important upcoming trade shows and events in their regions. So our marketing team, created these social media posts, increasing the customer's confidence and setting them up for success when they actually attend the event in a few weeks. As you can see from these posts, we encourage the viewer to connect. We say learn more. It's all in an effort to create the first touch point prior to the event, and which will ensure a better return on the event, return on investment at the event itself. But we don't really do this haphazardly. The key to creating fantastic and relevant content is to plan ahead. And so we create specific content calendars leading up to the trade show to ensure that the content you are creating is appropriate, on brand, and delivered at the right time. It all ramps up and it's building up the interest for the actual event. So we recommend designing and launching your content calendar actually 4 to 6 weeks ahead of the event, and then continue 4 to 6 weeks after. This will really help you map out what content you need and when to deliver it. So creating a content calendar is the best way to achieve your reach and ensure you are delivering your messages in a coherent and structured manner. To maximize your return on investment and ensure the biggest reach, we also recommend a combination of organic and paid, and the one boosts the other. For example, Facebook campaigns running both organically and promoted will work in symbiosis to help you build your brand awareness, share your insights, and promote your attendance at the upcoming event. And finally, you should be leveraging the power of videos. You should make sure to include videos in your content calendar. So why do we stress videos all the time? Well, social media platforms are increasingly video friendly. All the platforms that you're currently using for your business are optimized for video content, and for sharing. LinkedIn, for example, recently said that it is a content-first platform and it is a video-first platform. This gives you an idea as to how important videos are. If you're going to create any content at all, videos is the number one. What type of videos should you include? Well, leading up to the event, your social media is what you should really be leaning upon, because that's an interactive and dynamic space, and your videos are the perfect digital asset to further leverage that opportunity. The types of videos you can create pre-event include videos that share knowledge on key topics or themes relevant to the event, videos announcing your participation at the event, offering opportunities to meet up, and bespoke videos to specific attendees so that telling them you are excited to meet them. The pre-event phase is the best opportunity to make informal dynamic videos that capture attention, that spread awareness about your brand and your products, and really promote your appearance at the upcoming event.
Thank you, Ava. Right. Lots of good information and tips there and takeaways. Now let's say, okay, you've got the preparation, you've done all that media stuff in between. Now the show happens, the show must go on, the event itself. First thing, and this sounds kind of obvious, but it's amazing how quickly one forgets, is actually to set some goals for the trade show. I've listed some typical ones. I mean, they're a bit vague, but you know, try and make them as specific as possible. Obviously, you want to make a big, lasting impression, but make them good, tangible goals right from the start. And then have a strong event strategy. And there's really three big things that you want to have here. Just as Ava was talking earlier about the three things that you on the preparation stage, there are three things that you really want to have for the event strategy itself. A really good landing page on your website, social media strategy for the whole length of that time and engagement with it, and three, some videos to animate the whole thing. So a good landing page gets really important. It gets good traction. And you know, for some of our clients, we leave. You know, they have they like the landing page is so important for them for their trade show is so important, a particular trade show, that we can leave the landing page up there all year long. It gives them actually added authority for that trade show. So having an online landing page that's bespoke to the event or to the action that you want is in fact absolute priority. Take the time to design a really strong one, situates your brand, situates your company in that as well. And a landing page is absolutely crucial for all kinds of events, whether it's in-person, hybrid, virtual. And in this case, I've taken one for a distributor search, but you could have it for any particular event that you wanted for that. For a virtual event, use the landing page as a shareable piece of content. If you're presenting or having a conversation with a prospect, share the link so that they can learn more. Landing pages are also a really important part of lead generation and lead nurture, as you need to be offering content that is right for the prospect at the time when they want to receive it. So where they are on their buyer's journey. For social media strategy, again, I think the key really is don't be shy, don't be worried. You know, just get out there and create content. Don't say, oh, I don't know how to write well. Just create content that resonates with your prospects and your buyers and you know your clients. You know your clients. Oh, sorry about that. You know your clients. They will respond well to your posts. At the event, you'll need to be constantly or regularly posting content from the show itself. Posts that include photos, live stream of demos, keynote speakers, schedules, booth locations, anything that you can think of to maintain an engagement on it. By keeping your followers updated with the trade show and with the events of it, it shows your engagement, your authority on it, and will generate more prospects and booth visits. By highlighting your event, your involvement as well, you're really demonstrating your credibility in the trade show and your expertise in the industry. It reaffirming your authority in that sector and at that trade show for that. This is an example. I want to show you an example also of a QR code. QR codes are an absolute must-have now for your booth and for trade show participations. We've all learned how to do QR codes in the last 2 years, so this has now become just like another part of your toolkit, as it were, for the trade show. And you know, link it back to the website, link it back to the content, so that you know people can figure out and link to you and understand you and get to know you more when they want to, when it suits them. So that they might want to walk past your booth and say, oh, they're busy now. I wouldn't mind checking out their website though. And they can do that with a QR code. Let's talk now, get back to Ava and have a good look at some of the video things. But before we do though, I just want another quick another quick poll, if I may. It's whether you already use social media for your trade shows. Are you involved in trade? Are you posting regularly? Are you doing that for your international shows as well as your domestic shows? Are you still thinking about it? Where are you on that scale of that? Are you a lot of our companies are active doing their domestic trade shows, but haven't yet branched out to their international trade shows. So we're interested to see how that goes. Now I can tell you that just a bit of feedback here. Just over 50% of you are active on social media for your domestic trade shows. A little bit less on the more like 30% for the domestic and international. But I do applaud you. Well done on the international ones. Good. Well done. I'm going to close that poll and now turn back to Ava and let's figure out some videos as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, marketing today, as we've mentioned so many times, it's all about providing the most personalized customer experience, and that's really where the marketing trends are headed, towards personalization. As Susanna mentioned, you know your clients, you can speak to them directly, and they do want to hear from you. And so videos are the most perfect way to tap into this. People today prefer to watch as opposed to read the content. Here are just some of the many benefits of videos, which include being easy to share, better engagement, boost conversions and sales, improves brand visibility, for example, all of these. As you're approaching, I mentioned that you should be posting, leveraging social media platforms and posting your videos. As you get closer and closer to the date and at the actual trade show, you should still be communicating using videos and posting them on social platforms. So for example, post a video of your booth setup with your colleagues, showing that you are there and ready to meet. This is the perfect thing to do on the first day. Post a teaser of your presentation or your product release. Record a short video of you arriving at the event where your booth is located. All these videos help you build a strong affiliation between your brand and the event, and that boosts your overall brand awareness and your credibility in the market. Now, what are the actual videos that you should really have at the trade show, and what should you have at your booth? Well, whether it's a hybrid physical or a virtual event, here are the 3 most important videos that we think you should always have at your booth. The first is a mission vision statement video, the second is a client testimonial, and the third is a action brand video. A lot of these videos can continue rolling in the background at your booth or on your digital virtual booth, so that anybody who comes to visit is immediately introduced to your brand in a visual and compelling way. Videos can speak volumes to the prospect who doesn't even want to speak to you directly yet. Someone who is walking by and gets that quick first impression of your brand through the videos. As you can see, I just wanted to focus here quickly on the action/brand video for a moment. Just to give you some examples, these are 2 of our clients who wanted more videos, and these videos tell a really, really great, compelling story. In both cases, you can really see the character or the voice of the company really quickly. You get to know the company just through this compelling visual content. And you can step out for a coffee and your videos will continue to do the work for you. So having some of these videos in your back pocket to leverage at the booth, to play as you're speaking to a prospect, it's highly valuable. It contextualizes your brand within the industry. It speaks volumes. Next is what is going live. Live is the up and coming trend. Everybody's talking about live, and live should not be underrated. Live video has become a popular way to reach a broad audience and start a conversation. LinkedIn reports that live events are 5 times the rate of engagement of a normal video. So don't hesitate to go live at your trade show. These live streams could be a presentation. You could stream your presentation directly, for example, to YouTube or LinkedIn. You could, live your demo or just do a Q&A opportunity. You could stream live from your booth and invite people to come and meet you and ask questions so you can tell them where you are. If you're live streaming to LinkedIn, for example, you can create a live event that is only for a specific audience. For example, only for those attending the trade show. Or if the trade show is in Miami, for example, you can target specific people only based in Florida or only based in Miami. So even if lots of potentially your prospects are not at the trade show, you can speak to them and talk about what you're doing at that trade show and target a state, a city, an audience. And that's just one idea, but it can be a really compelling way to interact with people and reach a specific audience that you have in mind. So live videos can serve as also a very valuable piece of content that you can leverage in your lead nurturing post-event strategy, because all of these lives that you can do are like most of the time automatically saved, whichever platform you're using. So you can save your live, you can save that Q&A, and you can embed it onto your website in post-event, which is really valuable as well.
Eva, thank you very much. Let's just talk about that post-event moment now. So you've prepared the event, you're at the event, you're posting at the event. Now what happens afterwards? Basically, again, 3 magic steps. Harness your CRM. In other words, your client relationship management system, whether if that's an old-fashioned Excel spreadsheet or the latest HubSpot or Marketo or Salesforce or whatever. The next is really looking after the email marketing and making sure that that's working well, and then leveraging the content from the actual event. So repurposing as well. So when we look at a CRM, some of the most important things that you want to do for that is really to segment all those new contacts. Make sure that there are different buckets to try and identify where they are on the buyer's journey so that different people can reach out to them, and that you can reach out to them with the things that they need to have at that time. You don't want to tell someone, here's our pricing, when they're still looking at, what are the capabilities and functionality of your machine? So you really have to make sure that you're giving them what they want, how they want, when they want. Again, that's the real key to marketing. And that's, again, about segmenting those contacts. Then nurturing those leads with a whole email campaign. And these are called flywheels, getting regular contacts that lead them along from information and helpful content. And sharing the content from the events. Why not? This is valuable content that you've gathered during that event. Share it out, use it, repurpose it. So the bespoke email marketing campaign, equally a very important part, is really turning that conversation from an information to a dialogue with your prospective client, and helping to address their issues and their points in the way that they want to. And again, this is like a classic marketing flywheel or funnel, as it were. The first email is thank you for attending our booth. Personalize this. Remember who it was, what they were like, what they wanted. All that should be in your CRM. The next email could be what type of challenges they had during, what did they find in the trade show? Did they recognize any challenges? Did they find any solutions? And the third email, how about beginning of a sort of a monthly email regular funnels that they're involved and in your CRM. Next, I guess, really just leveraging all the things that you created during that event and making sure that it's working hard for you going forward, making sure that you remain that authority in your industry and on that trade show. And why not link it to previous trade shows that you've had at the same venue. So you turn those things that you've made, repurpose them, use them again. Even you can slightly repurpose them by saying, okay, I did a blog, I did a video here. I'm going to do a little infographic of that, or I'm going to take that and make it into a blog, or add it to my newsletter, or send it out in some other ways for that. And it's really important also to leverage any of the context you had at the trade show in terms of speakers, demonstrators. If you could share content on someone else's newsletter, for example. So there you go. That's a lot of leverage. And then I guess start preparing for the next one. We've gone slightly over time. I'm sorry about that, but we are trying to keep it as short as possible, as succinct as possible. We did want to still mention our takeaways. Before I do that, just wanted to re-mention our online global programs. And for my last poll, I just wanted to ask you if anyone would like to learn more about our online global programs and the associated grants that go with them. These are for websites and for online marketing across the US and Canada. And obviously they're tailored towards what you need, and we have a wide range of possible solutions to help our clients, whether it's for trade shows specifically or for longer term things again. And again, thank you very, very much for that. That's a very enthusiastic response. We appreciate that. We'll get back to you with some emails or some information for those who would like that. So I'm going to close this poll now. Where's my email? There we go, close. And just really leave you with some of the takeaways for that. So takeaways really before the trade event, figure out what type of event it is and what your objectives are. Write out your return on investment from the beginning so that you know what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, how I'm doing it. The preparation is absolutely key, so everyone knows for that. And start your email campaigns. Don't wait for the last minute. Start it as early as possible. We recommend, we have clients starting 6 months in advance. What really doesn't work is if it's started like 2 weeks in advance. That's really tough. During the event, obviously name your objectives. What are you there for? Is it to gain new leads? Is it a domain authority? Is it to find distributors? And prioritize. Get it for your online tools. Get a bespoke landing page. Use that content and share it. Use QR codes. It's an absolute must these days. And leverage the power of videos. Post the event. Use your CRM. Make sure that you're putting all the data into your CRM, segmented. Make sure that the right salesman has the right lead to follow up on those ones. Do that with email campaigns that are as personalized and specific as possible. And then prepare for the next one. These things come around very quickly. There we go, in just over 30 minutes. But we thank you for your patience and thank you for attending today. You will be getting a copy of the recording in your inbox if you registered for the webinar. And we look forward to seeing you all in person at trade shows. Let us know where you are. Thank you very much and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.